Welcome again. Like I told you, Doreen's story is so touching and you wouldn't want to miss part 3. And so we are going to have a very last part of her story. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Get your juice, sit down and listen to Doreen's story.
So, a friend brought for me a bottle like this of V&A. I swallowed the whole of it. I spent the whole week like a very mad one, a real one now. Because I would wake up, but was I even sleeping? I wasn't sleeping. I would go, the eyes were too red. I was never minding how am I dressed, who is seeing me, where am I going. Even the work itself became too hectic that period. Now, after that, I realized, why am I doing this to myself? Really thinking I'm wrong. There is something disturbing me. It's not alcohol. I can move on with this. Then I started talking to some doctors. But whenever I talked to some, they looked at a way of taking advantage of me. Like, Mbabazi, don't worry, that man, he left you. You can be my girlfriend. After all, you don't give birth.
So they just wanted to take advantage of
the
situation.
Exactly. Then others, the ones whom I would find, they are ladies, they're like, don't worry, you can adopt a child. Now, I realize these people are not understanding me. My problem was not getting a child then. I did not have the capacity of taking care of the child, and mentally, I was down. Emotionally, I was down. So, in that situation, when I was still there, as I was not sleeping, this time I was on Facebook and I saw some old friend of mine who was a doctor. I had met that person from school. For him, I was doing medicine, but for me, I was in business. But these people used to be my friends. We used to meet from church, from other activities. So when I met this person on Facebook, he said hi and asked me about my family. He had known I was married. He's like, Mbabazi, how is your husband? How are you? It is 1 a.m. You're still awake. Is everything well? Because for him, he's abroad. I'm like, yeah, everything is well. He's like, give me your WhatsApp. Now, when I gave him the number, this person called. When he called me, I wasn't capable of speaking to him. He's like, Mbabazi, very fast tell me about your husband. He knew me as a happy person. He expected, he's like, I'm not even feeling the smiles from here. Am I talking to Mbabazi or I've called the wrong person? Then I'm like, I'm the one. I talked while crying. Then he felt there is something wrong. Then he requested that if I could write what I'm going through. Then I wrote to him, I lost my baby. I had my uterus removed. I have failed to get over this. This person immediately understood what I was going through. But he asked me, what about your husband? Where is he? Are you with him there? I'm like, no, my husband abandoned me. That's the word I use. I said, my husband abandoned me. Then later on, I told him, actually, he didn't abandon me. I failed to cope up. The stress was too much. He wanted to marry, he wanted to have children. I mean, it was a lot. So I had to leave. Luckily enough, his wife was a therapist. So he linked me to the wife, and the wife continuously spoke to me and connected me to a group of people. There's a group of people, these are friends. They meet somewhere, they have an outreach, they meet somewhere, they have a retreat rather. Then they speak, everyone talks how the year has been. But this was already 2022. It had started like in April, May there. So it was already 2022, and then they meet somewhere, talk about how has the year been, what have you been through, how did you get over it. So they invited me to that session. Meanwhile, this therapist kept following me up. She would send me messages every day. She would give me a call. She would really, she followed me up.
She was there for you.
She was there for me on a friendly basis. So when we went to this sharing, I tried talking about what I was going through. This was during Christmas time. I tried talking about what I was going through, and these people were concerned because they had known me before. They were concerned. They're like, our own Mbabazi, sorry about all this. Never mind about everything. Actually, people shared stories, and I felt like, hey.
You felt relieved.
Yeah, I felt very relieved. I'm like, I have gone through all this. What about me? Then they told me, we just thank God for life. You'll get over it. I was advised to stop work first because I was running mad. Like the things I was talking were not connected. So people were like, how do you see if you first leave that work? Work was hectic on its own, and then my own life experience was hectic. Why don't you first pause work? Concentrate on your mental health. Then I took it. I came home. These people kept following me up. They supported me. They contributed some money for food. Even when after some months, they helped me to start up life.
That was good of them.
To go rent somewhere, start living, and that's how I started getting to get healed. Now I get to learn that when you have a problem, you need to speak out. When you don't share, you may die. But who do you share to?
Yeah, I know.
Who do you share to? Because like I've told you, all the people I talked to had their different views. There is a different way of how they saw this whole situation. Is when I would talk about, I tell someone I feel this person should understand me, but then the person feels like taking advantage of me. And then when I opened up to some people are like, you lose your uterus. What do you expect your husband to do? I'm like, the situation was heavier to me than any other person.
You had no one to understand.
And I had no one to understand myself. And actually it was from that I came up with an idea. Probably it was God's purpose for me to go through this, of a foundation to support women and girls who have gone through this. They lost their uteruses, whatever the cause. Because there are too many things which can happen
On a woman.
that could lead to this. Some have lost them through, they have had fibroids, and then there's no option to save your life, they remove the uterus. Some have been because of cancer. Whatever that could have happened. I look forward to listening to these ladies. I know what it means when a lady comes and tells me that
You lost your uterus.
they lost their uterus, they are failing to catch up with life. I will understand what you're telling me. If a lady comes and tells me that my husband is behaving this and that, I will understand. But also, I feel like speaking to these, our husbands. In the first place, I want you to know that when I make up with you, when me and you are together, we are married. Now, when the challenges come in, it has happened to me, and you push me away. It's like you have pushed me to death. First of all, my interest for marriage
Was to have companionship.
exactly was to have companionship, to have someone I can lean on. Now I have gotten a problem, and you have, like, I'm going to relate to my own story. I want you to think about all this that he took me through. How could he feel if all this, it was his daughter or his immediate sister or the person he treasures most or is too much attached to, that went through them, and then their husband treated them that way? I mean, how was that to him? Secondly, it is kind of a request. Support your wife through their healing process. Support them. It is not only the uterus that makes up a woman. Actually, when you are admiring her, you didn't see her uterus.
I know.
There is what you saw in her, there is what you understood about her, and you thought you could make it together. Now, when you kill her, you have killed her dream. You have killed her dreams, and you do not know how this dream was going to save the future, how this dream was going to save you as a person, or even the children that you are killing her for. She could be having a solution to the challenge that these people are yet to face. What happens if you make her go through that, and then she runs mad and all that? Always support your women when they are going through hard situations like that. Whatever I needed in all this situation was someone to understand me. I needed someone to feel what I was feeling, for me to know that actually it is emotionally bad, emotionally heavy for someone to lose their baby and then have their uteruses removed. First of all, that hope for having children is gone. Like, I was thinking too much, what am I going to do? But now I was at a point of thinking, what am I going to do with who? Because even surrogacy needed a man. And then my own was not understanding me. At a point I was staying with my husband, those almost 5 months that we stayed together, from October 2020 up to around March towards April 2021. I was there because, first of all, I was thinking, I was married, I already said I was married to a man of high class. Now, how will everyone hear that this kind of man did this to me? And then me, how will I explain? Did I fail marriage? I mean, what happened? And then I wasn't working. I wasn't working, and I depended on him entirely. And I'm like, from here, who will I tell? Buy for me food? Buy for me toothpaste? Buy for me? I mean,
you are a firstborn at home.
I'm the firstborn at home. My siblings all look up to me. And I go home, and I was still inside that. Meanwhile, I was breaking and dying and losing it all. That was so torturing and so bad. The people who have lost their uteruses, I am there to advocate for them. Their lives still matter. Their mental health is important, and their emotional support is all I can offer at the moment. I reach out to them. Like, my own problem was that, like I've explained. I feel like touching as many lives as I can, as long as we went through this, and I know that together we can make it.
That's nice. So have you started the foundation?
Yeah, I have started it. I already started up something. However, I have the people with the challenge, but the funding, because these people, personally, like I've told you, when someone comes and tells me that I have failed to eat, there is food, but I can't eat. Of course, not all men, like all husbands, women who have lost their uteruses are not supportive. There are those good men, and may God bless them for me. They support their wives, they are still supportive. But even when they are supportive, the lady, the person with the challenge has failed to catch up.
Yes.
I know what it means by waking up to think that you will never carry a child of your own. I know what it means by waking up to think that the process they have told you to get a child costs a lot more than you can ever imagine.
Ever earn in very many years.
I do not want to think about the time I went and inquired about how much surrogacy would cost, because it gave me fever. It gave me fever. I asked myself, why was I even inquiring? After all, the guy had
gone.
And then I'm here thinking I can manage, at least if I was with him. But there is later on, when I had stopped thinking about it, went out of that fever, someone tells me it is affordable. But then I'm start thinking, is affordable with who? So I started that foundation to support women who have lost their uteruses. One, the challenge values. There are those like me who are being traumatized, but they are failing to move out because they don't know where to go. Such, I welcome them. There are ladies who their problem is, who do I even tell that I lost my uterus? And they will not tell anyone, and they will not judge me, and they will not say it is your fault, you are what, and so on. I'm there for those people. The people are there with the problem, but the funding, because there's no way I'll receive a friend or a broken person who needs support, and then this person comes, yes, they want a shoulder to lean on, they want someone to speak to, but then me as a person, I can understand, but there are things which overwhelm you. I need someone, like a therapist talked to me. These people will need someone trained that way to talk to them, to explain to them, or let them understand there's life after this. Then they will need what to eat. Like I already said, I wasn't working and I was fearing, from here, where do I go next? The relatives were judging, everyone was talking from everywhere, like, hey, the daughter of so and so. When the baby died, she lost her uterus. I mean, a lot. And then I was fearing to go to relatives. And actually, when I tried staying with some for like 1 to 2 months, and they were asking me every day, you left your husband, what is your plan? You like a lot. I couldn't defend myself. So that way, my foundation looks at supporting these women in all areas, giving them where to run to, who to speak to, and then have life move on. Marriage can still happen even when someone has no uterus. It is not only the uterus that makes, and there are several ways through which people can get children even when they have not given birth to them. You can adopt, you can do surrogacy, you can, there are very many ways. You can still choose to live without children. I mean, what
there are
is
so
it
many
for?
people who have uteruses but they don't have children.
Exactly.
So still it's God who can give you children.
Yeah.
By all means.
By any means, God can do anything. Then, before, for me, I used to be a prayerful person. I used to believe God so much, but during that period, you could not even tell me anything that God. So when when a person is in such a place, I know what they are going through. But right now, I know with God everything is possible. That's why I'm telling you right now that the challenges that you're going through are not to kill you. For me, I thank God, He left me with life. I survived 3 surgeries in a close period of time. That was not minor. And then throughout the whole trauma, I was traumatized by the fact that I lost my uterus. I was traumatized by my own husband, the love of my life. And I didn't run mad. Or probably I did and nobody noticed. The God who brought me from that kind of depression can still do anything. So I'm encouraging all women who are going through such, contact me. Come, let's share ideas, let's have life. And if you're going through it and you see things are not moving, get someone and speak to them. Me, it was my mother knew right from the hospital. But then, even when I talked to her, it was so killing, like it would kill her. So it needs someone strong to absorb it. They will not judge you, they will not take you to the public to expose you. I have shared with you my story because I want to encourage you. And I shared all of it because I wanted you to understand the background, like where am I coming from. I had also very many questions and challenges and so on. I didn't want anyone to know and so on, but so that was my story. I hope you learned something and I hope you got so encouraged, especially to those that are in it or have been through it.
Thank you so much, Doreen. That's good. I know by the time you shared this, you have already healed. I didn't even expect you to just share it like this. I was just breaking inside as you were talking. Maybe people have noticed I was so quiet. I was just, imagining the pain that you went through. Thank you so much for coming out to support the ladies out there that are going through a tough time. Thank you so much, Doreen, for starting up something that you want someone to, rely on you, like someone give you their heart and you speak sense into them. It's a good thing. And I would request our dear viewers, wherever you are watching from, to support Doreen with her initiative of having a foundation that would reach out to women. I know she needs a lot of money, and her work that she's doing cannot be able to sustain that. I know God has blessed you with money somewhere and you'd want to donate. We shall share Doreen's number on the screen. You can even call her and you reach her out and you speak to her. Maybe you know a friend who has gone through the same thing. You can talk to her about Doreen and you connect them. Finding someone who has been through the same is just like part of healing. So thank you so much, our dear viewers, for watching. I believe you learned something. I wouldn't want to dilute the story. I love you so much. If you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing. And I think Doreen can say bye to you. We shall see her next time on her channel, God willing.
All right, bye-bye.